Hey, what's cracking? It's Paul. In today's video, I've been asked by a few people from my basing video to go over basing supplies, tools, things that I use in the hobby today, and some economical ones out there. We're going to look at some finished product today. We got the owlbear and another one for Warhammer that I finished up on some corkboard. And then in this video, I'm going to link a video that I did on how I did the owlbear and got that corkboard going. All right, let's start with tools. As you can see, I have a few things on my desk. I'll try to go over them as quick as possible. Let's check it out. So we got tweezers, hobby tweezers. Don't buy up into the fads. Just get some regular tweezers at your local drugstore. They work great. These can be used for dropping the tufts on the bases, holding small pieces, whatever you find, gluing them together. You should be able to get, I don't know, $2 in your area. You might be able to get a toenail set that includes these, and you can use that. I recommend using old brushes. And when I say old brushes, I mean things for like if you're doing a base and you're gonna drop some washes on it or some glue or whatever, use those, or cheap hobby brushes. You can pick up these probably off the Amazon, like a set of 30 for like $5, right? Use them if you want, then toss them, clean them. What I do sometimes is I clip the tips and I turn them into dry brushes. Works great. Toothpicks are a benefit. I didn't have any on my desktop today. Toothpicks are better for sculpting tools, moving things in places, dropping them down. These ones were awesome. I got this recommendation from a video I watched from Ninjon. These are from Hobby Lobby. They're craft swabs. I use it for gluing miniatures to bases. You'll see it in the video that I linked down below when I did the owlbear basing. Basically moving stuff around, glue, whatever it may be. They're swabbable, throw away 2 sides. Just watch out, sometimes I wind up gluing these to my mat. Easy to get off. More cheap brushes. I picked these up off of Amazon. I use these mostly for my speed painting. I think I got like 100 for $10. Once I get the speed paint too much gunked off, I just cut off the tip, use it for those hard to find places for dry brushing. Super cheap. Let's go over to cutters. Now, when you're starting to build miniatures, you're gonna get things that come on the sprue, and you're gonna wanna have things to cut those off the sprue. I mean, you could break them off if you want, but they're all gonna be jacked up. There's cheap sprue cutters that are out there. I recommend getting ones that work for you. If you're on a budget, these are probably at your local Lowe's or hardware store. I probably, when I first got these, probably paid $1.99, or they came with the set. I got the Army Painter ones. These work great. I got them with the set that I got from the Army Painter. Now, the ones I really like using is the ones from Citadel. Yes, they are expensive, but it can get right up on the sprue and cut it. You'll notice when you start cutting sprues or miniatures, if it's too flush or not too much, you start to tweak the plastic, and these give a really, really good cut on it for me. Other things that I use in the hobby, we're gonna say super glue or extreme power. This is from Hobby Lobby. It's one that I use. You can use whatever brand you want. Everybody uses something different. These have been great for me, and what it means by medium, if you can see that, it's just, it takes a little bit longer to dry, but I also, as I shared in other videos, I use accelerators, right, to speed that process up, whatever it may be. I use this on my basing sometimes when I'm impatient and I want things to be done quicker so I can take it to gaming night, right? Otherwise, if you got time to wait, I suggest when you're dropping tufts or grass or other things, try using basing glue. This one's from Army Painter, but it's also, you can get PVA glue like Elmer's or whatever it may be. I usually use those for like neutral basing, and super glue for like heavier bits. So those are definitely areas that you want to focus on. A couple other tools. This is a mold line scraper. I very rarely use it anymore. I bought it because I bought it into the hype. A lot of people use it. I don't knock them. It's from Citadel. There is a newer version out there. Their tools are a little pricey. I probably paid $30 for this and haven't got my money's worth out of it. But it gets rid of the mold lines on your miniatures. But there's another way to do that when you're doing the basing. I also got this tip from a pro painter. The sanding sticks for your miniatures or basing material. They're flexible. They can get into the area. They work great. You can get these off of Amazon. I can't remember the brand, but just look up sanding sticks, and they come in different grains like you see here. depending on how much you want to take off or not. Sometimes when you're using the mold line scrapers, they basically, man, you might take off too much. It just depends. Metal file sets, they work great, but I also lean more now towards the sanding sticks. I just don't get rid of things. The sanding sticks don't make it as abrasive. If you take away too much, you're screwed, right? And then you're using putty and other stuff to get back at it. Another thing is paper clips. I use these to pin my miniatures to the bases. So if they go down on the corkboard, they stay, they get a little bit more firmer. So paper clips, office store, whatever you may have. And another thing I have is an X-Acto knife set. You probably saw me mention that in my miniature basing set. I use these for cutting the corkboard, shaving the corkboard, sometimes getting the mold line off the miniatures that I want to get pieces to fit into the base. Maybe if it's a foot and you're not going to see it, I can just chop off the foot and get it into the base. Be careful with these, they are sharp. I've seen some bad cuts and heard some stories in that aspect. So those are some of the basic tools that I use. There's definitely more. So next we're going to come up on the next part of this video, we're going to talk about maybe some basing materials that I use from different manufacturers and potentially alternatives. All right, we're back. So let's go over some of my favorite stuff, you know, for the basing, like textures and tufts and that aspect. I'm not going to kill you to death with every product, or it actually wouldn't all fit on my desktop. And yes, I've probably acquired a lot of these over time, and you will if you have a passion for this hobby as I do. Different brands I use here, and I'll share why, or if not, I might give alternatives in these areas. So there's these things called texture pastes or splatter effects. This one right here is from AK Interactive. They have various ones of these. This one, just for example, is a dry mud. It's a trippy type of effect. You spread it on your base or whatever you're doing. It's wet. Got to give it time to dry. There's tons of these. I just have a few. I think dry mud, one called wet mud, and the one for corrosion effects, maybe on some miniature bases or even vehicles where you want to do some splatter effects if you're getting into World War II stuff or tanks. Definitely works. It's awesome. Another product from Vallejo is they have pigments, different colors. This is like a dry, very dusty. You can spread them on the top of your bases. And then I suggest using their mediums or their texture. It's a clear texture to coat it so it seals it in, or you can use like watered down Vallejo glue in different areas. These two right here are light yellow orc and light sienna. I have about 10 or 15 of these. I just wanted to bring them on the screen. I basically tap them on or spread them with the Q-tips that I showed you. And by the way, another tip on the Q-tips for saving money, if you don't want to buy those ones from Hobby Lobby, you can get those fat packs of like real Q-tips that you use for years or other things around the house and use those as well. Other things you can use, you can buy sand, right, from Hobby Lobby. They have like 4 or 5 packs of sand like this, different grit, different sizes, and it's going to save you a lot of money. Now, and the reason why I say sand or dirt or different scenery sand products, you can even get sand if you're in the coast somewhere. You can get it from the beach. You can get it from Lowe's or whatever it may be, a hardware store. And the reason I'm bringing up sand, because if you're on a budget, tip is use the stuff from Lowe's or whatever it may be. And then if you start getting into scenery sets, some sands that you can use are like the ones from the Game Master set or Army Painter. It's fine grit, right? It just depends. The main tip is if you're new into the hobby and you don't want to blow a lot of money, you can find things right in your backyard. You can get dirt, you can get rocks, you can get twigs, sticks. Just make sure you bake those in your oven or whatever to get all the critters off, as I mentioned in my earlier videos. I've seen people use coffee grounds, bark chips. It just depends. Dried herbs like leaf scatters. If you don't want to buy the little pre-made leaves, you can use and the herbs in that aspect. So those are definitely cool areas. Now let's go into, and when I meant herbs, I meant like cinnamon, oregano, because they look leafy in that aspect. Dry them out. And if you're on a budget and you want to use stains for like the cork board, you don't want to go to, say, Hobby Lobby to get those. It could be as simple as maybe you got some old cork coasters that are laying around the house, right? Here's the cork board. As I mentioned, I already got some broken up, but you could have some old cork board coasters around the house, or you know, steal some dirt from your backyard, like I mentioned. It just depends where you're at and what you want to do, but have a plan, right? Sometimes I'm not the best at those plans. Here's something where I save some money on rocks. These gardeners come around in my neighborhood and they drop bags with their business cards in them and they put rocks. Well, I don't always toss them, don't use them, but I keep the rocks because they could be like boulders or whatever, my scenery. I have them, they're bagged, they're ready to go. And then we'll move into the tufts. I have a ton of Army Painter tufts, but I'm not gonna get too crazy on it. I have different ones, but these ones, like I mentioned, vary in sizes from the small to the large. They come about 77. You'll see the count, how they break them out from small to medium to large. This one is the Woodland Tufts. Basically, they come on this sheet. They're sticky, but as I mentioned in other videos, is use the PVA glue. I do, to just dip those in there and stick them to my base so they stick better, right? Or over time, because a lot of people like to touch your models or you're gaming, and you just don't want to come off on the table. Other brands that are out there, picked these up from a store out in Michigan when I was traveling for work. This is Gamer Grass Flower Tufts, or it's Gamer's Grass. I just like them because of the color. It's like kind of burgundy, but it's kind of got a dry, it's got a leafy effect. And there's other brands. Who are these ones? These are called Muddy Mini Tufts, Tufts and Flowers from Huge Miniatures. Pick these up because how they shaped out, kind of like in a swampy base in those areas. And then here's another one. Can't remember the name of this company, but if you do miniature or miniature flowers on Amazon, you can get these. I like these because of the color set. And I got other ones that came in those areas like green, some that have the different rainbow colors. It just depends. These are great. And then after you're done with these miniatures, a tip, these cases come in great for storing like your tweezers, your tools, toothpicks, whatever you may be using. All companies make this, I guarantee you, but the ones that I've always had the best success with is the Army Painter's Grasses. Now there's different versions of this, but this one I have out, I use a lot. It's called the Steppy Grass, and it's basically, it's fake grass, man. And you glue it down with PVA glue, drop it on there. Some people have static guns to make the grass stand up. I haven't invested in one of those. You could also do it, I've heard tips with people with balloons. Balloons create static. Just depends on how much on your model and it'll pull it up. And then other things that I use. Here's another product from Army Painter. It's Brown Battleground. I believe it's just minced up corkboard. This works good too if you want like a dirt, earthy scene. And remember, these products and the rocks and the sand that I've shown can stay like that. You can put washes on them. You can repaint them, you can prime them, you can dry brush them. You'll see in videos that I do down the road, and especially on the Owlbear Basin video, how I did some of that. Other products, this is Woodpile. I saw these, man, at Hobby Lobby. They're pretty cool, like a set of 5. It looked like a true it is a piece of tree. I don't know what type. And I use these as bases. Things will catch your eyes as more you get into the hobby. You'll see this one that I did in the Owlbear Basin video. Other things that go through my mind when I'm at the hobby store, I pick these up. They're mini hay bundles, or they're made to look like hay bundles. You'll see the ropes and everything on them. Got these at Hobby Lobby, or you can find them in your hobby store where people do like trains, electronic trains, or do dioramas. They set them up out there. This could be for a big diorama you're using, or if you have a big miniature and your characters need to pose up against hay bales. It doesn't mean you're always doing fantasy, right? You could be doing Western. It just depends. Also, these were really cool too. You'll find out that you're always gonna go, hey, these are cool, I should buy them. I bought these tree branches, and you know, they're like logs in a river. If you saw one of my shorts of the Dungeons & Dragons Saturday cartoon that's on my site, I use these in the swampy area. They looked pretty cool. And then, let's see, as I mentioned, you can get rocks straight out of your backyard. They work great. You can prime them up, get smaller ones, whatever you're working with in those areas. They're great stuff that's out there. All right, so if you're back, you're still with me. So this is where the basing started. After getting everything on there, this is stages of corkboard, wood, sand, glue, right? And as you build up over time, if you watch the Owlbear Basin video, you'll see where I did the priming, the painting, the dry brushing, and let me share some finished products with you. As I mentioned, here's my Owlbear. This is coming in good. I was happy with this one. It started to pop for me, especially after I added the different tups and the Steffi graph in those areas. Probably use this or let my DM use this in one of our campaigns that we're gonna have. Everyone always has to have an Owlbear in D&D. Owlbear. And then this is one of my wizards that I worked on a while back. Corkboard as well, but got the texture on it the way I wanted it. He's up there casting his spell. Maybe it's a recast spell. Who knows? I got steppe grass in there, some flowers. As I mentioned, different colors, different textures. Camera might not pick it up. These look like little flowers blooming. He can be cast a regeneration spell. Who knows? It's whatever you want. And then here's one more finished product. Hopefully you can see this. I call this Bob the Corgi Wizard. Dark Metal Miniatures, man, they make some awesome miniatures if you get out there. I don't know if they're just metal or if it's dark miniatures. Definitely good out there. Some of the casts actually come from, here's a tip, if you're into D&D like I am, the old school painters and designers from the original TSR days, like Larry Elmore and those guys, they released some of their designs into these miniatures. But definitely kept this one a variety of colors. So you can definitely see finished product, giving examples, but let your mind go crazy, right? It's whatever works for you, and as long as you're having fun. So thanks for watching today, and look forward to our next video. Oh, 1 second, let me show you guys something. Sorry about that. I don't know how much of this is gonna show up, but check out the size of this massive miniature that I built. This is from Archon Studios. This is a Tarrasque. I have no clue how I'm gonna paint this guy. I got a feeling it's gonna be a lot of dry brushing. He was definitely interesting to put together, let's say that. A lot of glue. Otherwise, thanks for joining today. Have a great day and happy hobbying.